Welcome to Rave Sensation. I'm your host, Dan. And in this episode, we are going to be taking a look at a book by Zoe Lescaze called Paleoart, Visions of the Prehistoric Past. It's from Toshin Books. This book originally came out in one of their this is a big book, but it originally came out in one of those XX large, I think they call it, books formats. And it had part of this picture here. The face of this creature here was the cover of it. So if you see that around, that's it. And it's even larger than this. And this is a big book. So this book is a history of paleoart. And paleoart, this is art, not popular culture art, but rather serious reconstructions, or close to, that were done for museums or zoos or places like that, where they were trying to have some accuracy in their reproductions. Although these early ones, I love these early ones. They look so much just like the dragons and sea monsters from even earlier artwork. And they look really cool, although, of course, we know most of them are not anywhere close to what the dinosaurs really look like. There we go. There's the cover boy from the original one again. Now, this book has a lot of, not a lot, but it has some double-page spreads. And the thing about these fold-outs is I am not pulled back far enough that I can show them off very well. See, here it is. Don't know if I can give you a good idea about how big this is, but I didn't want to go back and try and change the camera all the time. So here's the foreword by Walton Ford. And what this beginning paragraph here, like many suburban boys in the 1960s, I was actually a country boy, but like many suburban boys in the 1960s, I had a childhood infused with images of prehistory. I was obsessed with stop-motion dinosaurs in the rarely broadcast 1933 movie King Kong, savoring glimpses of their obscure forms through the bluish haze of our rabbit-eared black and white television. I pored over popular science books such as Time Life's Nature Hit Library series and The World We Live In, searching for images of long-extinct animals and early humanoids. I collected plastic dinosaurs. I won't read much. I won't read anymore, but so lots of cool-looking pterodactyls. Anyway, that greatly mirrors my own childhood growing up. And so this book hits a beautiful, nostalgic spot for me. And I love these really early pictures. They basically have a few ideas about some of the creatures, and they just kind of repeat variations of them over and over. At first, the flying reptiles and the seagoing creatures, all of them called dinosaurs. And here they talk a little bit, Zoe talks a little bit about how they came up with the early interpretations from the bones and fossils that they had. Very, very cool looking creatures there. There is a really great, somebody did a really great animation, and I'll put a link to it in the comments section, but somebody in the last couple of years did a very great short film animating some of these old styles. Very cool to see. Very monster-like. Monsters was what I loved as a kid. And the variety of the different colors artists using these things was outstanding. So they found an incomplete body of a frozen mammoth at one point, and this was how they, looking at the corpse, which wasn't perfect. We have some much better looking mammoth, frozen mammoths to look at since this time, but at the time, that was the recreation, which is pretty cool. I really like the colors in this one. Look at that rainbow dinosaur there. And of course, a lot of these early pictures are just jam-packed, as though all the creatures were living like, they had to live like 3 feet apart from each other. And they're mixing the dinosaurs with the early prehistoric mammals. There's tons of different types of flying creatures, pterodactyls and such. And the humans, these would be, people we would depict nowadays. We have a much different look for Neanderthals and early man. This, just looks like the same way they would draw characters out of the Bible. They have these early cavemen interacting. Again, it's just wonderful stuff. Just great monster-looking stuff. I mean, some of these, even if you're not really familiar with some of this old paleo art, I swear some of it was used for so long in different books and stuff that I'm sure most of you might recognize some of this, even if you're an older kid. There's some more cavemen beating up a dinosaur, and this is, of course, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and there's some dinosaurs there with them. And this is eruptions of poisonous hot springs. They've killed a bunch of the poor little dinosaurs. I like the look on his face. That is so cool. And of course, many of these early depictions, they based off reptiles that were around at the time. This looks like an iguana. There's things that look like chameleons and iguanas and monitor lizards and crocodiles all throughout these early ones, with some fanciful touches. And here's an early mural. And again, this is how the pictures look. You can see, again, pretty modern looking features. And again, a giant fold out. All right, now, back to some dinosaurs. These are, of course, Hawkins recreations. What is this? Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins. That's his full name. And his thing was that he went ahead. He had models commissioned, giant sculptures of dinosaurs, so people could see what it'd be like to walk among them. These are on display. Still, some of these are still on display at the Crystal Palace. I'm not sure how well these small details are going to show up on the screen. Really good stuff. Here's an early look at a museum display of recreations. I do like the way they've done the sloths. So this is a great, this would be great to use for a kid's book. Look, it'd be like a mom and her baby heading ashore, all these different things. Because these colors are just beautiful. Now there's some Charles Knight here. I have a great book that's just Charles Knight paintings and drawings. It's a really great book. If I run across it in storage, I'll drag it out and show that off sometime. Although there's a lot of the most famous of the Knight stuff in here. Here's a couple of things from before Knight. Collectible cards, trading cards, artist and date unknown. I thought French postcards, late 19th century. No date on it though. Pretty cool though. This one was interesting. Alice B. Woodward. Woodward was probably the first female paleoartist, born in London in 1862. That's a pretty good sauropod. Oh, I like this with the eating platypuses. And here's one of Charles Knight's drawings. This was, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it was considered kind of controversial at the time because he depicted them as having so much motion, like this is so... I mean, a lot of people were thinking that dinosaurs were probably kind of slow and plodding, and here's this wild action scene. Of course, now we think of things like raptors and stuff as being really flexible and fast. But yeah, Charles Knight was the big guy for me, especially because they used some of the creatures his creature designs for the Marx toys, dinosaurs. I love these colors. I love the way he does sunlight for these pictures. Of course, this picture of the Triceratops and the Tyrannosaurus Rex are just, wow. I mean, this is crazy. And Knight was who Willis O'Brien based his King Kong dinosaurs on. And of course, like I said, King Kong was the biggest influence on me. Loving these things. This weird pose of the iguanodon, it was captured exactly in that one Marx toy. And these are, this was for display. These are tiles, each tile painted and then put up. This was the Berlin Aquarium. That's where this was displayed originally. Cool little tongue. The way this is drawn almost makes him look like he's a flying skeleton or something. I can't say that these are my favorites, but they're interesting. I do like the proportions on these. Those are pretty fun looking things. I would really love it if they would make a movie where they went back to these older designs. That's what's so cool about that animation. Oh, and this, when I was a kid and I saw this was like the weirdest. I really wanted to see those in motion. See how that was supposed to run around. course, again, Mark's Dinosaur Toys. I think you pronounce his name Rudolf Zallinger. I think that's how you say his name. This was another guy. As far as it goes, this was probably the next guy whose work you're going to recognize this as you come along, because he was the guy who was used the most to illustrate things, and he's also somebody who they used a lot for the Marx dinosaurs, like that Tyrannosaurus. There it is. This is for a mural that was going up, and you'll recognize this is the mural. When I was a kid, there was a fold-out that I had gotten somewhere, and I think it was from maybe National Geographic. I don't really remember where, but it had a fold-out of this artwork. Okay. And so you probably recognize these creatures, or maybe not. Maybe, I mean, I think most people would recognize these, even if they weren't a big dinosaur head. There's the full. I wish I still had that pull out. I don't remember what magazine it was, but when I was a kid, I wasn't. I think. Gosh, I watched a video a couple of years ago just so I would have an idea how to pronounce this guy's name. Zdeněk Burin? I'm not sure. I can't remember how to pronounce it now. He's got a lot of these, and see, these are much more how we think of the prehistoric man now. But here's the iguanodon with the spiked fingers. And this picture, again, another one. This guy's probably number 3 in the list of. Wow. That's great. You can really see the canvas in this. Now they're going through some of them quicker than other people. You know. And I guess they're kind of combining these Nev Parker and Maurice Wilson pictures because they're both British artists. Is that what you're saying they're doing? Why they're doing it here? Look at all those creatures. Here's Parker's T-Rex. I think I had a kid's book that had that. I liked Parker's stuff. It really looks It really looks like you could have seen these designs in a comic book pretty easy. And they're really brutish looking. They really have a real sense of that these are dangerous creatures. This Wilson one, I love the textures on this. Here's this wonky T-Rex from the cover. I don't know what's going on with that head. That's a Tarborosaurus. Is that what it's saying? Tarborosaurus? It says Tarborosaurus and armored dinosaur. You don't see the armored dinosaur in that. Man, that's hardcore. Yeah, this is the whole picture. The Tarborosaurus and armored dinosaur, because these are strange, kind of almost impressionistic drawings. But they've got a lot of stuff packed in here. So, yeah, so this is 1983. I think this is the latest art that's in here. And even that, by this time, this is not really how they had already kind of changed the way they thought some of this would be. So I think this is still a nod backwards. There's another mosaic. Cool. Alrighty. I don't know if you can make out the detail of this so well, these mosaics. The relief, the sculpturing of it. That's a very modern looking one. That's 76, so it's not... They don't have dates for these. This artwork reminds me a lot of sci-fi book covers of the 60s and early 70s, though. So, there you go. Here I wasn't going to flip through every page of this, but I couldn't help myself. So like I said, it's back in print. I'm going to post below a link to that animation. I have it bookmarked somewhere. I can't remember the name of the animator, but it's good stuff. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again soon.